Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Jackson. I am a lead generation specialist, and my mission is to help you grow your business. For the past 8 years, I've obsessed over digital marketing. This has allowed me to live a pretty crazy life and chase my dreams, and my mission is to help you do the same. I believe we all have the ability to live life on our own terms as long as we understand the tactics that can get us there. My goal with the Organic Growth Accelerator is to give you the tactics I've used to generate thousands of sales calls and create hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue. That being said, let's get into today's lesson. Hey, what's up, guys? Hope you're enjoying the course so far. To recap from the last episode, I talked about a story of how I was able to scale my first channel from 0 to over 300 million views, and how I went through this process of really scaling up my marketing. Well, in this episode, we're going to talk about how that applies not just to content, but to every area of marketing. I don't care whether it's advertising, outbound, organic, networking, or referrals. Whatever form of marketing you do, there's phases you go through to figure out how to get it to work. And when you understand what phase you're in, it makes it much easier to know what to focus on. So my goal with this video is to walk you through what each one of those phases are, so you have a better idea of where you're at and a better idea of where you're going.
What is up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about how to move through the phases of growth. Now, I know I made some material covering on how to do this with your content, but the truth is you can do this in every single niche, right? This is the process we go through of scaling our marketing operations, right? So basically, whether you're doing networking, outbound, referrals, advertising, or organic, I don't know why that took me so long to think of. For each one of these phases, there's a process we go through to really dial it in, right? So for each business, it's going to be different, right? Because you're different, right? A cybersecurity agent is going to have a lot different experience than a hypnotist, who's going to have a lot different experience than a realtor. You all have a million variables at play between your team, your market, your talents, your resources, your time, etc. So there is no one-size-fits-all solution. That's why you guys are working with me. That's why we've created the course in the way it is, because we want to create something that actually allows people to build out the proper marketing operations. Instead of just trying one strategy and hoping for the best, we created a system to actually figure out how to get all of these dialed in properly, right? So for each one of you, for each one of these phases, when you're going through it, the first step you're going to have is what's called the testing phase. This is where you're just trying to find something that works. You're trying to find an ad that works. You're trying to find content that works. You're trying to find an outbound script that works. You're trying to find networking events that work for you, right? You're trying to find a referral strategy that works for you. Within each one of these strategies, we just start by testing. Now, I provide a lot of material that allows you to go through that trial and error process a lot quicker based off of my results and the results we've studied of our clients and other people that have been successful, right? So by starting with a framework of what's already working, you're able to speed this process up a lot. But just because you're doing what's worked for other people doesn't mean it's going to work for you, because there's a million variables at play, right? So first, we just got to test. And that's why we track the crap out of our data, right? But in that data is the solution, right? So let's look at my ad tracker, for example, right? These are my analytics for the month of January. So in these analytics, first, we start on the left and we move our way over, right? So when you guys come on these calls and you're like, oh, it's not working, I'm going to tell you, pull up your tracker. Let me see what's going on. Because as we go through the process, literally in order going from left to right, we're going to be able to identify where it's breaking down. So with your ads, for example, you're going to start by just putting up an ad. It's either going to work or it's not. But in the data, we can see what's going on. So step one, are you spending enough money? No? Okay, start there, right? Next, are you getting messages? You either are or you aren't, right? If you're not getting enough messages, then chances are the ad isn't working, right? Because people aren't interested in your ad, right? So boom, okay, we'll fix that. Assuming that's good, this is what we have, what's called our cost per message. Then, all right, cool. We've got our cost per message dialed. It's where we want it. It's within our threshold. Well, how many of those messages are actually getting invited to a call? Is that the issue? Is it that we're not getting enough call invites? Well, if that's the case, then the issue is our DM script, right? It means that we're not responding to these leads well enough, right? Now, if we're inviting those calls and they're not getting booked, then the issue either lies in our script, the lead sources, which means our messaging might be off. We might be literally targeting the wrong people, right? Or we're just not staying on top of it enough. We're taking too long, right? There could be a couple different reasons, right? But with each one of these strategies, there's a different issue that we're running into that we can see from the data is where it's breaking down in the process, and we can address this. And this isn't just for ads. This is also for all these other strategies. Look at networking, right? You know, so these are my analytics. I'll go back to my analytics for the month of January. Right? So up here we track how many events did I go to, how many leads did I get, et cetera, et cetera. But then same thing. All right. Oh, networking's not working for me. Well, are you going to events? Yes or no? Right? The answer is, oh, I went to 3 events. Okay, go to more events. Go to 10. Right? Okay, well, how many contacts are you getting from those events? 2. All right, well, go talk to more people. Make your goal to get 10. Right? I'm getting contacts, you know, they're just not getting on a call with me. All right, well, then maybe the issue is the value proposition. For me, I offer free custom marketing plans. It's kind of hard for people to say no to that because if you need help with marketing, I'm helping you for free, right? So it's like giving someone an aspirin that has a headache. It's like they're going to take it, right? Now, are they showing up on calls? Are you booking calls? Well, you either invited them or you didn't, right? Is your invitation process off? Are you just literally not hitting them up afterwards, right? And so as we go through the process with each one of these, we can address what the issue is. Okay, they're showing up to the calls. They're either buying or they're not. Well, why aren't they buying? Is it a similar, do you get the same objection over and over and over again? Oh, I don't have enough money, or oh, I don't have enough time. Whatever it is, we can now address that objection. Is the issue that you're not pitching it properly? Is it an issue that you're pitching the wrong people? Whatever the answer is, the detail was that it's like the devil's in the details or something. I forgot what the phrase is, but basically your answer is in the data, right? So we start by going through that process. We start by just testing. We test which networking events work for us. We test which content works for us. We test which ads work for us. Then from there, we move to the optimization phase. Once we find a winner, now we start to look for ways to optimize. So for example, on my ads here, right? We can see in the data what my data was for the month of January. And I'm looking for things that stand out, things that I know I can fix or make better. And the glaring obvious one for me in the month of January was my no-show rate. It was 78%. That is atrocious, right? So this month on my date tracker, I put in the goal to get my no-show rate down to 40%, right? So now I can start to put things in place to fix that. I hired Fidel, our setter. He literally gets paid for people to show up on these calls. I just paid like $5,000 to a guy to literally build out our whole landing page and nurture sequence and VSLs and a whole infrastructure literally primed to make sure people show up to the calls, to make sure that we're filtering out people that aren't a good fit. So we're only hopping on calls with people that we actually want to talk to, right? So I'm starting to address the issues in my business. I'm optimizing. Then from there, as you start to optimize in the data and you get some winners, inevitably you feel like you have a system that's pretty dialed. That is when we move on to the automation phase, right? So with all these strategies, outbound, advertising, organic, there's a lot going on with all that. You try to do all of that at a higher level is really overwhelming. It's hard to do all of that yourself, right? But once we have systems in place and we know our margins, we can start to automate this process, right? So let's walk through how to automate that for each one of these. All right, so let's start with advertising. How do we automate advertising? Well, luckily for you, advertising in a certain extent is pretty automated, right? When the ad's running, all you really have to do is just check your analytics in the morning and make sure you're not throwing your money down the drain. It takes 5 minutes to do that, right? Let me get this a little higher just to make sure you can hear me. But where you do automate advertising is when you get the messages. So when someone responds to your ad, you take them through your DM script, right? So this is the DM script I have here. But notice I dialed this in before I automated it. But I automated it by hiring what's called a setter, right? So a setter is someone that responds to those messages for me. For me, I got my guy Fidel, right? So typically a setter gets anywhere from 3 to 5% commission plus, 30 to, anywhere from like $20 to $50 for every qualified booked appointment that shows up, right? So I've been able to automate the ad side to a certain extent because the only real work outside of just looking at my ad numbers and making sure that I'm not wasting money is just tracking your numbers and getting people to book onto calls, pre-qualifying them, taking them through a script and getting them on a call. So I have automated that process with Fidel, right? Now, the other thing that I'm doing that is automated with Fidel is outbound. So when he isn't doing inbound from our ads, because it doesn't take that long to respond in that update, that's only like an hour of work a day, maybe 2. He has extra time on his hands and I want him to make money. So I have Fidel doing outbound as well. Every single day he's reaching out to 30 to 50 people to try to get them to book a call, right? So just like we have an inbound script that we get people's attention from the ads, you can do outbound, which is cold DMing, cold emailing, cold calling, etc. Right? So basically what I've done, which is super cool with Fidel, is given him an opportunity to grow within our infrastructure. So yes, he can be our setter. Yes, he can make good money doing that. But I want to give the people in my organization an opportunity to grow into something bigger than their current role, right? It gives them incentive to work harder in my business, and it's going to lower my churn rate, the people, that want to quit, right? Because why do people quit? It's because they feel like this business isn't going to get them where they want to go. So everyone I work with, the first thing I do is tell them, hey, I want this business to be the vehicle to give you the life that you want. So tell me what that is, and I'll figure out how to position Passion Toolbox to help this get that for you. Because the issue I had with all these businesses, I was a personal trainer, sales guy at LA Fitness. I worked at this marketing agency that did a lot of like telemarketing to real estate agents. I had all these jobs, and my issue with all these jobs is I just felt like a cog in the machine. And that's why I didn't take it serious, right? So I try to set everyone up in my organization to feel like they have a opportunity to grow, like they're a business owner within my business. So what I told Fidel is I'm like, all right, start doing this outbound, but then take the commissions you make and hire your own virtual assistant to do the outbound for you. So now he can automate his role that I'm automating, right? And so now he's able to build his own infrastructure of virtual assistants that he's trained to go do the work for him, and he gets the commission check and then just pays them an hourly rate, right? Or a commission. If he gets 5%, all right, give him 2, right? Because you can get a lot of virtual assistants overseas, like in Argentina, for example, where just the US dollar is worth way more in their country. So you may be paying them $5 an hour, but like that's the equivalent of them getting paid like $30 or $40 an hour in their own currency. So it actually works out for both sides. You're able to get high quality talent at pennies on the dollar, and they're able to get a really good wage that they probably wouldn't be able to get outside of that opportunity, right? So we can automate all these processes. You just start with the testing phase, right? Like I said, testing phase with outbound. All right, that's testing your scripts. Find a strategy that works. Is it messaging them on Instagram? Is it cold DMing them? Is it cold calling them? It's going to be different for each business. But from there, you look at, okay, now that I have a proven model, how can I automate that? Well, you automate outbound through commission, right? You automate advertising through commission, through a setter, right? Now, what's crazy is you can actually automate networking as well, right? So how do we automate networking? Well, let's look at my numbers and we can dive into what I'm currently doing on that side, right? So in the month of January, I went to 5 events, average 5 contacts per event. I was closing about 0.4 deals per event. Average cash collected $433, $1,500 in revenue. That means for every networking event I go to, I make $1,500 basically, assuming that they pay. 500 cash collected, right? So I went to 5 events for grand smack in total of $20, right? It's crazy, right? So my return is bonkers. And since I have really good margins in my business, I can afford to give good commissions for my clients. And if you guys are doing any sort of info product group coaching model, which I highly, highly recommend, you're going to have crazy margins, right? So as long as your margin's there, you can hire sales reps to go to these events for you solely on commission. And what's cool about this strategy is you're able to literally train your sales reps without wasting your money sending them paid leads. So what I've worked out is a way that my networking sales reps can work their way up, just like Fidel could work his way into building his business within my business. So for the networkers, it's like, all right, first we just go to free events, right? And your goal is to book them on a call with me, right? So for all of you, you have your lead magnet. That's your free custom marketing plan, your free cybersecurity assessment, your free hypnotist, whatever your niche is, you have a free call where you basically help people for free. So when you go to these events, that's what you're selling. For me, it's free custom marketing plans. And since that's what I'm selling at these events, it's such an easy pitch because I just have to say, hey, I'm an expert in my field. I'll help you for free. And that's what these guys say. So they go to the event. Hey, what's up? I'm Bob. I'm a brand development manager for Passion Toolbox. We've gotten over 2 million views a week on our channel. If you want an extra 20 leads a day in your business, come talk to me. We offer free custom marketing plans. That's it. They don't need to be some expert. They don't need to tell them a million things in that meeting. And if they have more questions, they're like, oh, what about this? What about that? And the person at the event doesn't know what to say. They can simply just say, you know what? That's a better question for my CEO. Let me get you on a phone call with him. Right? Then from there, these sales reps book them on my calendar and they show up on the call. So now they watch me go through the script. They're following the script on their side and they watch how I take them through the process and close them. So now they're bringing me these leads. I give them a commission based off of that. And I'm training them simultaneously at the same time. Then from there, once they get a sale, they've now earned the right to get paid events to go to. So now that I've generated commissions, I'm going to use those profits and go pay for them to go to a $30 lunch here, pay for them to go to a $20 lunch here, pay for them to go a $10 networking event here, right? And I know in my margins, I got the room for that, right? And so I'm able to build a network of these guys. And it's like, okay, cool. They start going to paid events. They get me more clients. Once I feel like they understand the pitch, all right, cool. Start taking these calls without me. You don't need me on them, right? So they start closing deals without, me even being a part of the process. And when they get good at that, they then earn the right to my paid leads. So now they're working up towards something. They're working from, free to paid events to now I'm getting leads sent to me on autopilot, right? Then my plan from there is going to be, all right, cool. You get really good at sales. I trust you. Now you go build your own team of sales reps, right? So now I have them going and building their own team, training them, building their own business within my business. And I'm able to build an entire network, an entire operation where everyone in there has the opportunity for growth. Because when that person trains the person under them, they get the same opportunity. They start with free events. Then you work up to paid events. Then you worked up to, paid referral. So automated referrals. And I give everyone within my organization a chance to grow. And I'm able to create this super synergistic model here where all of these strategies are essentially automated to the best of their abilities. Obviously, with certain things like, organic content, you still got to make your content, right? Obviously, we have other material more diving into that strategy specifically and all the ways we can automate it between softwares, between, our editing team, things like that, virtual assistants, booking you appointments, right? But what you can do with all these tasks as well is just make a list of all the tasks that need to be done and ask yourself, how many of these do I have to do, right? But over time, we're able to create with all of these strategies a very integrated system, right? I'm getting 10 to 20 leads a day on autopilot from my ads, getting a 10x return on my ads, while I'm simultaneously getting 2 million views a week from my content that's generating leads. On top of that, I'm getting 30 to 50 outbound messages sent a day by my guy Fidel. On top of going to networking events, where I now have 7 reps in Hawaii, California, Utah, Vegas, LA. I got people all across Michigan. I got people all across the country now going to these events. So now when I have a bad month on ads, I make up for it in networking events or outbound. And then when you get all these 4 strategies dialed, guess what starts happening? You start building a referral pipeline, right? Just naturally. I went to a networking event last night. One of, the new members that's supposed to start today invited me to the event last night and introduced me to someone that now wants to be a client. So now I'm getting referrals, right? And we're able to create this machine that's just pumping out in all these different areas, but we're not relying on a single strategy.
Hey guys, so I want to give you one caveat to what I said here at the end. Yes, over time, we do want to build a diversified lead flow, but when you're just getting started, you need to pick one strategy and stick with it. One of the biggest mistakes I made when I was launching my first business is I tried to do everything at once. I tried to do networking, outbound, content, advertising, and referrals all at the same time, and it became too much. If you're strapped for money, start with outbound and networking. If you have a little money in your B2B, we're going to want to focus on automating outbound. If you have a little bit of cash together and your B2C, we're going to want to do advertising. If you have any specific questions you'd like me to clarify, go ahead, just comment down below. I'll come in and reply to them. But just remember, start slow and build your way up. You don't need to do all of this at once, right? Alex Hormozi says you should start with one lead strategy until you're doing 7 figures. I think that's a big mistake I made when I first got started. I tried to diversify too quickly, and that came back to bite me in the ass because I was spread too thin. So just take that into account while you're doing all this work I'm talking about here. Hope you're enjoying the content. If you'd like some free help with your business, go ahead and just shoot me a DM on Instagram. I'd be happy to give you a free custom marketing plan. Also, every single week, I do free Zoom calls where you can come on and get direct access to me absolutely free. If you'd like the link to that, just shoot me a DM on Instagram. I'd be happy to send you that as well. Enjoy the content. I'll see you in the next video.